Hi everyone, welcome in. Thank you for joining me. My name is Marlene and I am with A Room to Bloom. I wanted to bring forth a message today. We're going to start with a deck called the Rose Oracle. I want to see what comes up in the energy. One of the things I wanted to mention is yesterday I was driving somewhere and there was this huge area of daisies. And then I had the same thing happen today. And one of the other things that happened today was a ton of lavender. So daisies are representative of joy, new beginnings, hope. Okay, and lavender is very calming, right? It helps calm. It also helps with nausea. So just if you are moving through something, focusing on daisies in that color yellow will help you stay positive and hopeful. And then the idea of a lavender, using that maybe as scent. I'm sorry. It's a little bit later than normal when I record a video. So anyway, yeah, essential oil. Thank you. So using that, okay. We're going to use a deck here. Start out with this called the Rose Oracle. I haven't used this in a while. Let's see what comes up that'll be helpful for you on your journey. Okay, the first one is the Sacred Union. Beloved within inner and outer relationships. Okay, a sacred union that is taking place. I am going to use the book on some of these, so we're going to take some cards and then I will grab the book, right? A sacred union is taking place, and that could be with the self, right? Inner and outer relationships. Okay, the next one is the grandmothers. Remember your roots, gaining perspective and trusting the weavings that have taken place and that are taking place. I have goosebumps on my right leg. That's kind of interesting, right? Trusting, or remembering the roots, trusting the story, the weavings of the story, how things are coming together. And this seems so appropriate for that, right? Healing is happening. You are not broken. Trust the process. It is safe to soften, right? When we go through our experiences, you can become hardened, right? Because you've been hurt. And so people build up walls, or they maybe move through life without an open heart at some point, but it's okay to soften. And think about any times when you see that in the movies. I've actually been watching Army Wives, and there was a gal who owned this bar, and she was an older lady, and she was tough, right? But she was tough, but there was kind of some things that were underlying, which were really where her pain was. And once you get to the root of the pain, the softening starts happening, right? The next one is the Rose Garden, and it speaks of innocence, forgiveness, and forgiveness. Be gentle with yourself at this time, right? And we're going to go ahead and take one more. The lineage of the rose, moved by the goddess, here for this soul call and gathering. Okay, a gathering, the lineage of the rose. Okay. So let's just tap into this a little bit here. So the sacred union, relationships are how we grow. They cradle and they stretch us through connection and division, love and hurt, compassion and separation. They invite us to return again and again to the most important relationship that we will ever have, the one with ourself. the sacred union that has been waiting within. Ancient mystery teachings whisper secrets of sacred unions. In early Christian mysticism, the Kabbalah, in ancient Egypt teachings, and in Tibetan Buddhism, we're familiar with mystic couples such as Isis and Osiris. But we each have the sacred masculine and feminine within. And sacred union through external relationship is always an invitation to deepen the union within. Every relationship can be seen as an invitation to deepen connection with the beloved within, even our most challenging relationships, especially the most challenging ones. The sacred union isn't just between you and another, it is returning to yourself. And when we return to ourselves, we also return to humanity as a whole. Maybe you are being invited to grow through relationships. Perhaps you feel like you're being tested or stretched to find yourself longing for something external. This is an invitation to deepen the connection within, to embrace yourself fully, treat yourself like the most precious person on the planet. The more embraced you feel, the easier it is to embrace others, right? So this is getting right with oneself, and it's like filling your own cup first, right? Taking care of your needs so that when you are taken care of, right, it can overflow to others. So it is that same idea. You can't fill another's cup if yours is empty, right? So just don't be hard on yourself or feel guilty if you are taking care of yourself, doing the healing work. So we also have the grandmothers here. So let's see. Remembering your roots, perspective, and trust the weavings. The rose was here long before you and me, and long before humanity itself. She holds within her the rememberings of civilizations past, roots that reach back for millions of years and hold the codes of creation. I have goosebumps. They carry with them the songs of the ancient grandmothers of the earth. Can you hear their song? When this card appears in a spread, it is an invitation to reach all the way back, to go forward, to reach your roots deep in order to soar high. The ancient grandmothers are calling for you to remember the wisdom of your ancestry. Long before colonialism served so much that's sacred, before the rise and fall of empires and entire civilizations, all the way back to the origins of humanity. They're calling you to play your part in this time of healing, to heal and integrate what you have inherited in your ancestral line. It is not personal. These are changing, healing times, and that we come here for, to reconnect and to reach all the way back to the original mother, and to see our role as the ancestors of those who are yet to come. To remain grounded and rooted in your life so that no matter how rocky things get, you always know that you are home. Okay? And it's interesting because it was speaking about that healing, and then the next card here is healing is happening, right? You're not broken. Trust the process. It is safe to soften. You're not broken. You are part of an ever-changing nature of life. Ever-changing, ever-changing, and ever-changing. Change is our natural state. The rose knows that you were never meant to stay the same, to be one single shape, size, or way. You are not normal, and that's normal. You're always becoming more and more of who you truly are. Healing is happening every moment of every day. You're returning to your true state every moment of every day. Call in your support team of people who can hold you in that, who can trust in the grace of your natural state. A true healer knows that they're not the one doing the healing, rather, they're holding the vision of the return to wholeness, knowing that wholeness isn't a stagnant state. When you embrace all parts of life, from the ecstasy to the agony, the joy to the grief, the bloom to the fall, the bud to the rose hip, you'll realize that healing is always happening and life is on your side. No one is immune to the polarity of the human experience, and the only way through it is to embrace all parts of it, the light and the shadow. And as any healer or initiate knows, the only way to the light is to embrace the shadow within. The shadow, and sometimes the pain, is the portal to your liberation. You're not broken, you're healing. Healing is happening. Trust the timing of your life. And really just repeating those words. Healing is happening. Healing is happening. Healing is happening, right? Sending prayers of speaking words over yourself, sending prayers of light, right? Through every cell of your being. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the rose garden. Again, it speaks on innocent forgiveness and being gentle with yourself. You're holy and you are whole. You're innocent and innately good. You're wholly welcome here. You never got kicked out of the garden. None of us did. This card delivers a message of welcomeness, of returning to our innocence. If you feel you have done something wrong without knowing what you have done, if you feel ashamed about hurting someone, if you're finding it hard to forgive yourself, this card is gently calling you to release any shame, judgment, or bad feelings, to do what you need to do, to let go, and to make amends, to remember that you're human, and as a human, you are here to learn and grow, and so is everyone else. You're not broken, you never were. You're a work in progress. We are all, you're learning and unlearning. We all are. Be gentle with yourself and in turn be gentle with others. Return to your humanity, your humanness. Remember that you were never perfect and being human isn't about perfection. Grow and learn, but do it softly. You have goodness in you. Remember that, cherish that, and cherish that in others too. We're all doing the best we can. When we learn, we can choose to do something new. Commit to learning and doing better each and every day. This is what it means to be human, to embrace our humanness. Without it, we deny the shadow, and it's through facing the shadow without defense that we can learn and grow. Embrace our humanity, and you'll find it easier to embrace others and the whole world. The question here says, how can you be more gentle with yourself, right? In what ways or areas have you been hard on yourself? Carrying stuff around that you no longer need to carry around. And then we have the lineage of the rose. Moved by the goddess, here for this soul call and gather. 3 times these changing divisive times, your soul chose to be here right now for this. You are part of a collective team led by the goddess, by the mother of us, all to reweave the thread of the rose back into the tapestry of humanity, to make spaces where all people feel cherished and safe, to heal and to be healed from the destructive patterns of patriarchy, to be part of the return of the goddess to the earth. So getting back to the matriarch, right, where it's like the women's nurturing side of things. If you've been doubting your path, you're being called to look within and to trust the whispers and the weavings from caverns deep. The way of the mystic rose is walked by few and known by heart, not mind. Try not to overthink, rather trust the threads that are woven deep. This card contains within it a confirmation of the inner call and the reassurance that you are not alone in it. The Mother of us all thanks you for being a part of these changing times for humanity. She acknowledges your devotion to doing your best to support yourself and others in the journey back home to themselves, to each other, and to the earth. She wants you to know that she is available to guide you every step of the way. Speak, sing, and dance with her. You are led, you are led, you are led. The inquiry here is, how are you being called to commit more deeply to humanity and to the earth? Is there a cause? Is there someone, a group, or whatever to speak for? How is the earth or Gaia calling you to help, to take care, to, it could be changing products that you use. It could be a variety of things, a variety of many things to help. Every little bit helps, right? Okay, I don't know why, but I've got the deck in my left hand. I'm just being called to pick up half of it. So let's see what happens. Trust the seasons, embrace change, cycles of life, transition, and growth, right? Trusting the seasons of your life and however long they last for you. They don't necessarily align with our Earth's seasons. Okay? All right, so I want to see where we are for time. We're at 17 minutes. You know what? I'm just going to leave this as a short reading because usually mine get a little bit longer. That's the message for today. Let's just take that. Trust the sacred union with yourself and relationships outward. Trust your ancestral messages. Remember your roots, gaining perspective. Trust the weavings. Healing is happening, right? Forgiving yourself, letting go of shame, regret, fear, right? And leaning into the matriarch energy, right? Moved by the goddess, here for this soul call. So a softening of things, if you will. All right, take care. I hope you have a great day. Thanks.